Yes, Miss Yaska. Yes, started.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Vidya Vijay Foundation. This session aims to enlighten us all on registration of copyright under Copyright Act 1957. It takes immense pleasure for me to call Dr. Nityanand Singh, partner and founder Nux Legal. This section will be taken up by Mr. Singh, who is a member of Honorable Supreme Court of India and fellow member of Institute of Company Secretary of India. He has secured doctorate in law. He is an advocate by profession and practicing at Honorable Supreme Court of India. He has extensive experience of more than 20 years in litigations. Mr. Singh is a partner and founder of an international law firm namely Nux Legal and has operating as a corporate law firm in retail concept and currently handling litigation matters in more than 500 districts in India and abroad. Mr. Singh is also running an NGO with the name and style Vidya Vijay Foundation and serving the poor and needy people for upliftment of their education, social and living standard. The name Vidya and Vijay came from the name of the parents of Mr. Singh. The first word is the name of his mother, Mrs. Vidyadhari Devi, and father, Dr. Vijay Narayan Singh. Mr. Singh is a visiting faculty of IIM, ICSI, ICAI, and other law colleges and business schools in India. Mr. Singh is also socially and politically active and contested the election of Legislative Assembly at Delhi twice. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Nityanand Singh to proceed with the session and embark all of us upon this topic with his knowledge and wisdom.
Thank you, Miss Yaska. Good morning. Namaskar सभी साथियों को. Today, friends, we have the session on the registration of the copyright under Copyright Act 1957. And we will go through and come to know about what is the copyright and how it can be registered, how the register can be maintained by the registrar of the copyrights. We will cover all those things and what covers under the copyright. Then we will start with registration of the copyright under Copyright Act 1957. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, yes. First of all, we will go into the history. British period. In India, it was during the East India Company, the first Copyright Act was introduced in the year 1847. That the copyright which we are discussing today, that was initially started in the 1847. Almost more than approximately, you can say, 150 years back. Again, in the year 1911, Copyright Act was passed in England, based on which Indian Copyright Act 1914 was passed. In India, the Indian Copyright Act 1914, it was passed in the 1914, and after independence, Indian government passed the Copyright Act in the year 1957. Subsequently, this act was amended many times due to the influence of the many international treaties for which India was the signatory. The treaties which has influenced the change in the above act is Berne Convention 1886, the Universal Copyright Conventions 1940, the WIPO Copyright Treaty. What is the objective? Why this act came into the force and what was the purpose behind it? What was the objective of the Copyright Act? Its main objective is to encourage the authors, music composers, singers to create their original piece of the works by granting them exclusive rights. Once you are the singer, composer, or author, once you are writing a book, you have always apprehension whatever the big book you are writing or whatever the, you can say, song you are singing, it may be copied by someone else. And to protect that rights, this Copyright Act came into the force. The basic objective behind the Copyright Act to protect the rights of that particular persons who are the author or who are the owner of that particular thing. Suppose you are writing a book, then the another person cannot copy the same book and selling on their name. The copyright protects you. Suppose you are the singer and you are singing some song, and that song has to be, once it is a copyright, then no one can copy of that particular song. In the same manner, there are another also things. Then this Copyright Act protects all those persons. To stop the misuse of the copyrights, it helps in protecting the rights of the persons who holds the copyright. It protects the rights of the persons who is holding the copyright. The copyright holder gets both civil and criminal remedies in case of the infringement. If any persons is infringing your copyright, then you can file a suit in the competent court of law, either in the civil court as well as in the criminal. First of all, I would like to explain what is the definitions, which is more important to understand the entire Copyright Act and entire copyright procedure of the registrations. So first of all, you have to know that there are the very few important definitions. Who is author? Section 2D of the Copyright Act says author means in literary or the dramatic work, author of the work. Once you are talking about the literary or the dramatic work, then the person who is writing that book or who is sketching, who is that person is the author of the work. In musical work, the composer, the person who is composing the music, is the author. In literary or dramatic work, the person who are writing the book is the author. In the musical work, the person who is composing the music is the author. In artistic work, other than the photographs, the artist who is making the art, the person who is the artist is known as the author. In relation to the photographs, the person taking the photographs is the author. In relation to the cinematograph, film or the sound recording, the producer of the film is the author. In relation to any literary, dramatic and musical or artistic work which is computer generated, the person who causes the work to be created. Some other meanings. Artistic work, a painting, a sculpture, a drawing, including diagram, map, chart or plan, of photographs and work of the architecture. What is the artistic work? It is defined under Section 2C of the Copyright Act. A painting, a sculpture, a drawing, including diagram, map, chart or plan, photographs and work of the architecture is includes in the artistic work. Then what is the cinematograph films? Because these are the definitions, is the very important definitions. And before going through and understanding the Copyright Act and procedure for the registration of the copyright, these definitions are the very important. So try to understand. Means any work of the visual recording and include a sound recording. If anything is sound recording, then it is cinematograph films. Computer programs means a set of instructions expressed in words, codes, schemes, or any other form. Any computer program that can be also have a copyright. Dramatic work means any piece of the recitation, choreographic work, entertainment or acting. It doesn't include cinematograph films. Dramatic work doesn't include cinematograph films. Literary work, it includes computer programs, tables and compilations, including computer databases. Musical work, any work consisting of the music and includes any graphical notation, but doesn't include any words or action intended to be sung, spoken or performed with the music. What is the graphical notations? Means there are the certain graphics. It is not in the music itself, but it is in the graphics. Then it is also the copyright. Then these are the certain few definitions we have covered. Then you will come to know what is the copyright. Copyright is defined under Section 14 of the Copyright Act. It is an exclusive right of the copyright holder. Whatever the copyright, the person who is holding that copyright is the exclusive owner of that particular copyright. It is a right to copy or produce the work for which author has got the copyright. It is a right to do or authorizing others to do certain acts. It is a product of the human skills and mental capacity to do something creative. Copyright is entirely the creative task. Then you will come to know what is the copyright. It is defined under section 14. Meaning of the copyright. For the purpose of this act, copyright means the exclusive right subject to provisions of this act to do or authorize the doing of any of the following acts in respect of the work or any substantial part thereof. Namely, in the case of the literary, there are the certain different parts covered under these definitions. In case of the literary, dramatic or musical work, not being a computer program. Once you are talking about the literary, dramatic and musical program, but that not be the computer program, in that effect, to reproduce the work in any material form, including the storing of it in any medium by electronic. You are producing something. Then if it is literary, dramatic or musical, to reproduce the work in any material form, including the storing of it in any medium of the electronic. Electronic mode, you are storing something in electronic mode. To issue copies of the work to public, not being copies already in the circulations. There should be something new work. The copies which are already in circulation, that doesn't cover the copyright. To perform the work in the public or communicate it to the public, to make any cinematograph, film or sound recording in respect of the work. Whatever the work you are doing, you are recording it. To make any translation of the work. These all are the definitions of the copyright. To make any adaptation of the work, to do in relation to the translation or an adaptation of the work, any of the act specified in relation to the work in subclass 1 to 4. In case of the computer programs, in the first portions, we didn't cover the computer programs. It only covers the literary, dramatic, musical work, which is not being a computer program. But now we will cover what is the computer programs. In case of the computer programs, to do any of the act specified in clause A, to sell or give on commercial rental or offers for sale or for commercial rentals any copy of the computer programs. You are selling something for the commercial rental, sell or give on commercial rental or offer for sale or for commercial rental any copy of the computer program, provided that such commercial rental doesn't apply in respect of the computer programs, where the programs itself is not the essential object of the rental. In the case of an artistic work, to reproduce the work in any material form. Once you are talking about the artistic work, then reproduce the work in any material form, including the storing of it in a medium by electronic or other means, depiction in 3 dimensions of a 2-dimension work, depiction in 2 dimensions of a 3 dimensions work, whatever the 3D and 2D you are producing, to communicate the work to the public, to issue copies of the work to the public, not being copies already in circulation, to include the work in any cinematograph film, to make any adoption of the work, to do in relation to adoption of the work any of the act specified in relation to the work in subclass 1 to 4. In the case of the cinematograph film, to make a copy of the film, including a photograph of the any image forming part thereof, or storing of it in any medium by electronic or other means, to sell or give on commercial rental or offer for sale or first rental any copy film, to communicate the film to the public. In case of the sound recording, all are you getting my point? Yes?
Yes, sir, we are getting your point.
In the case of the sound recording, to make any other sound recording, embodying it, including storing of it in any medium by electronic or other means, to sell or give on commercial rental or offer for the sale or for give such rental any copy of the sound work. This is all the definitions of the copyright. To communicate the sound recording to the public, For the purpose of these sections, a copy which has been sold once shall be deemed to be a copy already in the circulations. Once you are already in the circulations, then you cannot copy it and have a copyright. But whatever the new copyright, then you can register it. What type of the work in which copyright subsists? These all are the definitions are covered under the copyright. Then we will cover what will be the copyright. What type of the work in which copyright subsists? Means which type of the work you can go for the copyright under Copyright Act. The Copyright Act stated that the copyright shall subsist throughout India in the following classes of the work. That is to say, this word throughout India is very important. I will explain it. The following classes are original literary. It is word specifically written original. Whatever you are going for the copyright, your work should be the original work. That should not be the copy from anyone. Once it is the copy from anyone, then it is not registered under the Copyright Act. The original word is very specific. Original literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work. These works these works can be registered under the Copyright Act. Original literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work. Cinematograph films and sound recording. These three, A, B, and C, can be registered under the Copyright Act. Original literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work, cinematograph films, and sound recording. Copyright shall not subsist in any work specified in subsection 1 other than the work to which the provision of section 40 and section 41 apply. Copyright shall not subsist in any work specified in subsection 1 other than a work to which the provision of section 40 and section 41 talks about the publications outside of India, or the person who is resided outside of India and want to register in India in his right as a copyright. Then there is a specific provision given under section 40 and section 41 that the notification has been granted by the central government that can also be covered. Otherwise, it is not covered. Copyright shall not subsist in any work specified in subsection 1 other than the work to the work in case of the published work. Copyright shall not subsist in any work specified in subsection 1. In case of the published work, the work is first published in India, or whether the work is first published outside India, the author is the date of the such publication, or in case where the author has dead at that time was at the time of his death a citizen of India. It means the person who is the citizen of India, that work can be registered under the Copyright Act as a copyright under the Copyright Act 1957. It means the person has to be resident of the India. The foreign nationals cannot register their copyright in India except section 40 and section 41 of this act. In the case of an unpublished work other than the work of the architect, the author is the date of the making of the work a citizen of India or domicile in India. In case of the unpublished work, in the case of the published or unpublished work, in case of unpublished work other than the work of architecture, author is at the date of the making of the work a citizen of India. Means person, even though if it is an unpublished work, but the person who has to be citizen of India or domicile in India. And in case of the work of architecture, the work is located in India. Whatever the architect you are doing, that work is located in India. It means the entire section 13 says once you want to register a copyright under the Copyright Act, then you have to be a citizen of India. In case of the work of the joint authorship, the conditions conferring copyright specified in subsection shall be satisfied by all the authors of the. Once you want to register the copyright under the Copyright Act, more than one person, then whatever the terms and conditions applicable to the one person, the same terms and condition has to be satisfied with the another person. This is very important. Copyright shall not subsist in any cinematograph films if substantial part of the film is an infringement of the copyright in any other work. The copyright, you cannot register a copyright once those cinematograph films is a substantial part of the film is an infringement of the ones that your work is infringing the copyright of another one that cannot be registered under the Copyright Act. In any sound recording made in respect of the literary, dramatic or musical work, if in making the sound recording, copyright in such work has been infringed. Whatever you are recording the sound already registered with the name of the another persons, once you are infringing that mark, then those copyright cannot be registered. The copyright in a cinematograph film or a sound recording shall not affect the separate copyright in any work in respect of which a substantial part of which the film or as the case may be the sound recording is made. The copyright in a cinematograph film or a sound recording shall not affect the separate copyright. It means once you are registering a copyright of that particular film and whatever the music and whatever the song, that can be also a separately be may be the copyright of that particular song. So films can be recorded, means entire films and songs can be recorded as a registered as a copyright, and only films and only song can also be recorded as a copyright without any infringement of Copyright Act. In the case of work of architecture, copyright shall subsist only in the artistic character and design and shall not extend to process or methods of the constructions. Then we have covered section 14, what is the copyright and what the subsist of the copyright, what can be registered under the Copyright Act. Now we will cover what are the documents are required for the registrations of the copyright. If any of our learned friends want to ask any clarifications, you are most welcome. Otherwise, you can proceed further. Yes, anyone please? Anyone ask any questions? Yes, please. Documents for, am I audible to all of you or not? There is no reply from anyone. Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
But no one is responding my calls.
Don't know, sir.
Documents for registration of the copyright. What are the documents are required for registration of the copyright? 2 copies of the work and DD, online payment, only if registering online of the amount applicable, power of attorney if filed through online. If your work is an artistic work, then you would also require a search certificate from the trademark office in TM60. If your work is a computer software, then source code and object code of the work are required for the verification. These are documents are required. NOC from the legal heirs if the author is deceased. NOC from publisher if the work published and publisher is different from the applicant. NOC from author if the applicant is different from the author. Copyright rules, copyright rules, rule 70 talks about how the application can be moved and who can move an application and how the copyright can be registered under the Copyright Act. Application for registration of the copyright. Every application for registration of the copyright shall be made in form 14, and every application for registration of the changes in the particulars of the copyright entered in the register of the copyright shall be made in the form 15. There are the 2 prescribed format. I will show through the online how the copyright can be registered through online. And what are the forms are Form 14 and Form 15. Form 14 are required to fill the forms and it has to be submit before the learned registrar. And if you want to any change in that particular form, then you have to fill the Form 15. Every such application shall be in respect of the one work only. If you want to file a copyright, then single application has to be moved by the single work. Every such application shall be in respect of the one work only and shall be accompanied by the fee specified in the second schedule in this behalf. Whatever the fee prescribed, you have to pay the fee. Every application should be signed only by the applicant, who may be the author or owner of the right. If the application is submitted by the owner of the copyright, it shall be enclosed with an original copy of the no objection certificate issued by the author in his favor. Once the author is signing, then he has to give no objections. Every application for registration of an unpublished work shall be accompanied by 2 copies of the work. Every application for registration of the computer program shall be accompanied by at least first 10 and last 10 pages of the source code. Once you are giving the registrations of the computer programs, then at least from 10 page to 20 page. If it is your computer program is only up for the 20 page, then you can submit the entire pages. If it is more than 20 pages, then in that conditions, you have to submit first 10 pages of that programs and last 10 pages of that programs. Means there should be only 20 pages. Every application for registration of the computer program shall be accompanied by at least first 10 and last 10 pages of the source code, or the entire source code if less than 20 pages, with no blocked out or redacted portions. Means there should be no any blocked out portions. You cannot miss anything. Or redacted portions means you cannot suppress anything. So it should be original one and in the entire form. Every application for registration in respect of an artistic work which is used or is capable of being used in relation to any goods or services, such application shall include a statement to that effect and shall be accompanied by the certificate from the registrar of the trademarks referred to in section 3 of the Trademarks Act 1990 to the effect that no trademark identical with or deceptively similar to such artistic work has been registered under this act in the name of, or that no application has been made under that act for such registration by any person other than the applicant. Every application for registration in respect of an artistic work which is capable of being registered as a design under the Design Act 2000, such application shall be accompanied by the statement in the form of an affidavit containing the following. Every application for registration in respect of an artistic work which is capable of being registered as a design under the Design Act, such application shall be accompanied by the statement in the form of an affidavit containing the following. Once you are filing anything artistic which requires to be registration under the Design Act, then you have to file an affidavit while registering with the Copyright Act. It has not been registered under the Design Act 2000. Once you have registered with the Design Act, then you cannot apply for the copyright. Before registering the Design Act, you have to apply to the Copyright Act. Once it is registered in Design Act, then you cannot apply. It has not been applied to an article through industrial process and reproduced more than 50 times. That cannot be registered under the copyright which is already in the publications and more than 50 copies has already been published through industrial process. Every such application can be filed in the Copyright Office by person or by post or online filing facility provided as website of the copyright. I will show the website also, how you can file an copyright under the Copyright Act through online. The person applying for registration shall give notice of his application to every person who claims or have any interest in the subject matter of the copyright or disputes the rights of the application. Once you are filing an application under Copyright Act, then the registrar of the copyright will place it on record, place it before on the website, that any persons who is in any persons whose copyright is being infringed, they can serve the notice to the registrar within the 30 days from the date of the placing that application in the website. Then you have to look into. If no objection to such registration is received by the registrar of the copyright within 30 days, time is very important, that within 30 days you have to file an objections if any. then that will be considered. Once 30 days is over, you have no right to file any objections. If no objection to such registration is received by the registrar of copyright within 30 days of the receipt of the application, the registrar of the copyright shall, if satisfied about the correctness of the particulars given in the application, enter such particulars in the register of the copyright. If the registrar of the copyright receives any objections for such registrations within the time specified in sub-rule 10, or if she is not satisfied about the correctness of the particulars given in the applications, he or she may, after holding such inquiry as he or she deems fit, enter such particulars of the work in the register of the copyright as he or she considers. Once there is no objections, it will be moved further. If there is any objections, then the objection may be sent to the concerned person who is the author of that particular copyright. And after removing that objections, if the registrar is satisfied, then he can register your copyright in the copyright register. If it is not satisfied, then it may be fixed for the hearing. And once after hearing, if the registrar is satisfied that your copyright should be registered, it will be registered. If it is not satisfied, that your copyright may be rejected. The registrar of the copyright shall give an opportunity of hearing before rejecting any applications filed for registration of the work. This is the process where it can be registered. The process of registration is deemed to be completed only when the copy of the entries made in the register of the copyright is signed and issued by the registrar of the copyright or deputy registrar of the copyright to whom such authority is dedicated. Registration is complete once your name is entered into the register of the copyright. The registrar of the copyright shall, as soon as may be sent, wherever applicable, a copy of the entries made in the register of the copyright to the parties concerned. The person who has applied for the copyright, the copy shall be sent that yes, your copyright is being registered under the Copyright Act. Section 40 to 58 states about registration of the copyright. Section 44, register of the copyrights. There shall be kept at Copyright Office a register in the prescribed form to be called the register of the copyrights, in which may be entered the name of or titles of the work and the names and addresses of the authors, publishers, and owners of the copyright and such other particulars as may be prescribed. Your name is entered into the register of the copyright. Entries in the register of the copyright, the author or the publisher of or the owner of the other persons interested in the copyright in any work may make an application in the prescribed form accompanied by the prescribed fee to the registrar of the copyright, entering the particulars of the work of registrar of the copyright. I will show form and inspection of the registers. The registrar of the copyrights and indexes thereof kept under this act shall at all reasonable times be open to the inspection. You can inspect that particular register, and any person shall be entitled to take copies, may extract the copy of the such register or indexes on payment of the such fee and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. There are the certain, whatever the register is maintained before the registrar of the copyright, and you can inspect and you can also take a copy. Correction of entries in the register of the copyright. The registrar of the copyright may, in the prescribed cases and subject to the prescribed conditions, amend or alter the register of the copyrights by correcting any error in the name, address, particulars, or correcting any other error which may have arisen thereon on accidental slip or omissions. If there is any wrong in the applications or anything wrong in the entries with the register of the copyrights, you can make a particular applications and that correction can be done. Once your copyright is being registered, then what are the rights vested with you? Right to reproduce, right to communicate to the public, right to issue new copies of the work, right to have a copyright for the fixed terms, right to assign, right to seek legal remedy in case of infringement of once your copyright, registered copyright being infringed, you can serve the notice, you can also sue him. You can also file a case for the infringement of the copyright before the competent court of law. Right to grant license, you are having the license. Advantage of the copyright protection, the certificate of the registration, which is act and evidence of the authorship. It helps the author to take immediate legal actions against the infringement. You can take an actions if your copyright is infringed. The registration certificate is useful to author and his successor to establish their title in the case of the dispute. It helps to prove the copyright in the foreign countries. It is helpful for the government in levying and collecting royalty and pay the same to the copyright holder. Prior registration help in determination of the licensing. This is a very important term. What is the term of the copyright? Section 22 to Section 29 of the Copyright Act states the terms of the copyright. In case of artistic, dramatic, literary works, and musical works, the term of the copyright is in lifetime of the author. This is very important. You should listen very carefully. What is the time period, the validity of the copyright? The time period is validity of the copyright is in the case of the artistic, dramatic, literary, and musical works. The term of the copyright is lifetime of the author. Who is the author of that copyright? His term is the lifetime of that author plus 60 years from the date of his death. Means whatever his life, that will valid till his life, and even after death, 60 years from the date of death. In case of the work of the public undertaking and the work of the international organizations, the term of the copyright is 60 years from the date of the publications. Work of the public undertaking and work of the international organizations, then the term of the copyright is 60 years from the date of it. Once it is published, then the 60 years from the date of its publications. This is the entire chart. Whatever I have discussed from last 34 minutes, this is the very clearly depicted through this chart. Kindly see very carefully. This chart is very important. Once you will understand this chart, you will understand the entire process of the registration of the copyright, how the copyright can be registered, filing of applications along with the fee. I will show the applications, how the applications can be filed. Applications will be filed in the Form 14. Filing of applications along with the fee. It may be through online, it may be through hard copy, through, you can say, physical. Issue of the diary number. Once you have submitted the form, the diary number will be issued to you. Once you are physically submitting the form, the diary number will be with the rubber stamp, the diary number. Once you are filing online, then the immediately diary number will be reflected on your screen. 30 days mandatory waiting for the objections. Once you are filing an applications, then the registrar will show the same on the website of the copyright that this is the new applications. If any person wants to file an objections, they can file an objection within 30 days from the date of the reflecting on the website. Once objections filed, yes or no, it may be that objections filed, it may be possible that no objection has been filed. First of all, we will discuss if no objections has been filed, then the learned registrar will scrutinize the documents by the examiner. And if any discrepancy arises, then they will communicate to the author or applicant that yes, this is the discrepancy. You should remove that discrepancy. Discrepancy found, discrepancy letter issued to the applicant. Then the applicant will file the reply. And thereafter, if the learned examiner is satisfied, then it will be registered. If it is not satisfied, then the hearing will be fixed. And once the hearing will be fixed, you have to go and appear before the learned registrar that yes, this is my point, and you have to convince to the learned registrar, yes, you are the original author of that particular copyright. Then it may be further registered. Registration approval, yes or no. No discrepancy found, then it can be directly be registered. Registration, once it is registered, then the registration approval, sending extracts from the register that yes, certificate will be received to you. And once there is an objection is filed, then sending letter to both the parties. Once there is an objection from any party, then the letter will be sent by the learned registrar by both the parties, applicant as well as opponent, and reply from both the parties and seeking reply from both the parties. Hearing by registrar, then not satisfied by the reply, then the hearing will be fixed by the registrar. And after hearing, application may be accepted or may be rejected. Once it is accepted, then again it will go for the process for application accepted, then scrutinization. Then further, if there is any objections, then again send for the reply, and reply will be received. If it is satisfied, then it is okay. If it is not satisfied, then hearing will be fixed, and after hearing, it may be registered or it may be rejected. This is, my learned friend, this is all about the procedure for the registration. Probably all my learned friends are learn something. If any doubt about the registration process, I will show the physical form as well as the online form, how the copyright can be registered. Questions, any query on this aspect, you can ask. Otherwise, I will proceed further. Yes, my friends. Is there any question, any query from any one of you?
So,
Yes, please.
जैसे कि आपने बताया सर कि सेक्शन 22 टू सेक्शन 29 टर्म्स ऑफ कॉपीराइट के बारे में बताता है सर.
जी जी जी
इसमें आर्टिस्टिक ड्रामेटिक लिटरेरी वर्क्स एंड म्यूजिकल वर्क्स.
जी जी जी.
तो सर आफ्टर डेथ ऑफ द ऑथर,
जी
अगर किसी को
अब हम आगे बढ़े विथ ऑल ड्यू परमिशंस. हाँ जी,
Yes, sir.
बताइए प्लीज. थैंक यू. सबसे पहले मैं फिजिकल फॉर्म की बात कर लेता हूं. ये फॉर्म ये अगर if you want to file a physical form, if you are not very versed with the online process, then you have to file a physical form. This is the physical form, form 14, application for registration of the copyright. These you have to fill the informations, name and address of the parties, date of dispatch, on which date you are dispatching this application. Prescribed fee has been paid as per the details. Fee is the paid which is already prescribed in different works. Communication on this subject may be addressed to where you want to communication from the learned registrar. You have to put your address. It is signed by the applicant, the person who is the author of that particular thing. They can sign this document. Date and place you have to mention. Statement of the particulars, you have to blank this because it has received once we will file the application, the registration number, name, address, nationality of the applicant. All those forms, all those informations you have to provide it. Nature of the applicant, interest in the copyright of the work, class and description of the work, it may be artistic, literary, and whatever cinematographic and music regarding whatever you have to write here. Title of the work, what is it may be the book, maybe the cinematograph films, what is the title of that work, language of the work, it may be English, Hindi, whatever the language may be. Name, address, nationality of the author, and if author is deceased, the date of his decease. If any person has write a book and he has expired, then the date of the decease, or the date of the death. The work is the published or unpublished, year and country of the first publications, and name, address, and nationality of the publishers. Years and countries of the subsequent publications, if any, and name, address, and notification. If that publication is the subsequent, then you can also, it is subsequent publication in that particular country. Name, address, notifications of the owners of the various rights comprising the copyright in the work. If the owner are the more than one, then you can also name, address, nationality. You have to mention here. And if any other persons, then you have to name, address, and nationality of the any other persons. If the work is the artistic work, the locations of the original work, including name, address, and nationality of the person in possession of the work. All those you have to put it here. If the work is artistic work which is used or is capable of being used in relation to any goods, the application shall include a certification from the registrar of the trademark in the terms of the proviso, subsection 1, section 45 of the Copyright Act. You have to take a certificate from the registry of the trademark under forms. There's a specific TM form 16, TM 60. You have to apply to the learned registrar of the trademark, and he will provide a certificate. If the work is artistic work, whether it is registered under the Design Act, if yes, give details, and you should also put a details. If the work is artistic work, whether it is registered under the Design Act, if yes, give details. If the work is artistic work capable of being registered as design under the Design Act, whether it has been applied to an article through an industrial process, and if yes, number of the times it is reproduced, because once it is reproduced more than 50 times, then it cannot be registered under the Copyright Act. Remarks, if any. These are the details of the statement of the particulars. Then further we will go ahead. Statement of the further particulars. Literary, including software, dramatic, music, and artistic work only. Is the work to be registered? Yes. Is an original work? Yes. Translation of work in the public domain? It may be yes or no. Translation of the work in which copyright subsists? Yes. And adoption of the work in the public domain? It may be whatever it may be, yes or no. And adoption of the work in which the copyright subsists, because here copyright subsists, section 13, we have already discussed. If the work is a translation or adoption of the work in which copyright subsists, title of the original work, language of the original work, name, address, nationality of the author of the original work, and if the author is deceased, the date of the decease. This is the statement of the further particulars. Name, address, nationality of the publishers, if any, if the original work, particulars of the authorization of a translation or adoption, including the name, address, and nationality of the party authorizing, remarks, if any. This is the statement of the further particulars. You have to put your signature here, date and place. This is the guidelines which has been fixed. Instructions for filing the copyright registration form, the statement of the particulars, and the statement of the further particulars. These all are the details you have to fill. And after filling all those details, you have to submit to the concerned authority once you are talking about the Delhi, in the Dwarka sector 14 Dwarka, and along with whatever your work in the 2 copies, along with the fee. Once you will submit it, then it has the registration number, then the procedure will be further followed. I will show. This is the TM60. Once it is your artistic work, if it relates to the artistic work, then you have to apply the TM60 form before the learned registrar of the trademark. You have to take certificate that yes, it has already been applied or registered with the registrar of the trademark. Request for the search and issuance of the certificate. You have to produce, once you are applying for the copyright, then you have to produce this search certificate with the learned registrar of the copyright. You have filled all those informations, and you can take the copy of the certificate. And once you are filing these copyright applications and filing through the advocate or attorney, then you have to file your power of attorney or wakalatnama, and how to fill the power of attorney, how to make a power of attorney. This is the power of attorney I will show before the registrar of the copyright office, New Delhi, or maybe anywhere in India, wherever the office is, in the matter of Copyright Act 1957 and in the matter of the applicant. You have to write here the name of the applicant, and if that applicant is authorizing you, so and so. Suppose if it is authorizing our firms, then Nux Legal, Advocate and Solicitors, and all those addresses. And here you have to put in date, and it has to be signed by the client, and it has to also duly signed by you. This is the power of attorney. This is the physical form has been completed in all respect. Then you will go for the online forms. Once you are filing the online forms, then you will go for the website ipindia.nic.in. It is visible to all of you? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is quite visible.
Then here it is a copyright office. And you listen very carefully because it is very important. I am going to tell you. And once you are the practicing professionals, you have to very carefully look into one, because once work will be assigned to you, certainly you have some idea how to register a copyright under the Copyright Act, especially the professionals or the young professionals who started their practice. This is very important, because once the work will come to you, but you are not able to deal with that work, it is very difficult situations. So at least have an idea about it. I am trying to cover most of the things so that, yes, young professionals can understand and they can apply the copyright. Here, this is the website of the copyright, how to apply online. Here is an applications. It is visible to all of you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
It is visible.
E-filing of the copyright applications, registration of the copyright. Here, registration of the copyright. Once you will go on the registration of the copyright, then here are you, if it is click here for the new user registration, you can make your ID and password. Click here for the new user registration. Here it will be the new user. Once you will click here, there is a new user, your title, address, country, nationality, email ID, name, address, surname, city, district, mobile number. Choose your questions, choose your user type, choose your ID and password. You can put your ID and password according to your whims and fancies. Whatever the user ID you want to choose, you can use here user ID, password, confirm password, and once you are entered with this CAPTCHA, and once you will submit it, then the user ID and password will be created. You will, once user ID and password will be created, then you will proceed further. Because you have already created a user and ID password, therefore you will use that user and ID password. You can also create a user ID and password and you can put it here. You can put here CAPTCHA. Something wrong. Now it is open. Enter, it is instant. This is the form. New online services, e-filing applications. Here is the e-filing applications. This is the instructions given. I have already discussed with you how it can be filed. Click here for the link, online copyright registration form. Complete the form, press button, save button, filing particulars, press enter and all those details, literary, dramatic, musical. Fill the payment details. Once you will pay the fee, then all successful submission form in the diary number will be generated. Once the diary number will be generated, in the form, in the physical form, then you have to also send it. Once you are filing through online, then you have to take a print out of the diary number, and then it has to be sent to the office of the registrar of the copyrights, Copyright Office, Department of the Industrial Policy and Promotion, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Baudhik Sampada Bhavan, plot number 32, sector 14, Dwarika, New Delhi, email address and telephone number. You have to submit this form physically. Then here you will go for the registration of the copyright. Step 1, step 2, step 3 and step 4. There are the 4 steps. In the first step, form 14. Whatever is showing in the physical form, I have shown you that you have to fill that form, and all those details, whatever the details given there, all those details you have to fill here. Once you will fill that form, here is I will show name, nationality, address, pin code, date of dispatch. and communication subject matters address to. What is your address? Once you will here, click here, I accept. Once I will fill this form. Suppose if it is Delhi, I am showing how it can be fill up. Party details, then where we want to address, pin code, phone. Once you will accept it, I accept. Once it is accepted, then you will save it. Data saved successfully, redirecting to step 2, statement of the particulars. Now we are on the step 2, statement of the particulars. In the same manner, you will fill this form. Copyright of the applicant, individual, business, others, primary applicant, country, state, all those things, applicant details. Whatever the form I have shown you in the physical form, the same details are here. Once you will fill all these forms and all those details, language may be there. This is the language. I will show the main important issues is primary. It may be, suppose if it is individual, country, India, select state, maybe Delhi, New Delhi, applicant details, name, address. You can fill all those things, pin code, Indians, save new applicant. Thereafter, signature, you can put your signatures, nature of the applicant, interest in the copyright of the work. It may be, you may be the author, you may be the owner, you may be the publisher, you may be the composer, maybe the producer, artist, whatever, all those details are given here. You can put, suppose you are the author, class of the work, author literary, dramatic, artistic, cinematography, sound recording, music, computer, you can say literary. Description of the work, any suppose if you are writing something, suppose Gita. The title of the work, you can write, put it in your description of the work. You can say book, name of the book, maybe anything, Gita. Language of the work, maybe English, Bhojpuri, Hindi, whatever you can, maybe in Hindi. Suppose it is English or Hindi, whatever. Then name and address of the nationality, whether the published work is unpublished work, published, unpublished, you can fill those informations. Once you will fill those informations, then again you will save it. And once you will save it, then you will go on the statement of the further particulars, step 3, this step. And once go with the step 3, then all those information has to be filled. Then you have to make the payment. And once make the payment through online, then the diary number will be generated. Once the diary number will be generated, then you can take a printout of diary number and you can send it, whatever I have shown you, to the concerned persons and concerned office. And you can see here, that is e-filing application, pending applications, status of your application. You can see details of the processing fee, checklist, workflow. This is also showing the workflow. This is the entire workflow. I have already shown you that this is the workflow. And once your application has been submitted, kindly see 1 minute more. Here it is your, once you are filing an applications, then you will see your fresh applications, monthly applications, waiting applications for objections. This is the, once you filed an application, whatever I was discussing, that 30 days time period is allotted to file an objections by the any other party. Objections, if any, may be made in the writing to the Copyright Office by post or online within 30 days of the publications. These are the applications if you file an objections. then your objections will be considered and notice will be served to the applicant as well as opposite party. Both party may file their reply. Then the hearing will be fixed. And then if it may be rejected, may be accepted. And once objection applications list, these are objections has been received. You can see from here online. And here is the hearing notice and orders, guidelines for using so and so. And after hearing, your application will be registered. You can check your application status from here. What is the status of your here? You can check what is the status of your applications. You can put it here, your number, and then you can view your status. This is all about, my friends, how it can be registered, how the certificate will be issued, and how you can get a copyright registered under the Copyright Act. This is all about. I try to cover my best everything what is required to be registration under the Copyright Act. If my learned friends wants to any questions, any answers, any query, certainly I will try to answer as per my best of knowledge. Please, any of our friends, I will request to all of our learned friends that you should put your email and mobile number in the chat box so that we can connect with the people. Yes, anyone please want to ask any questions? You are most welcome. If it is clear to all of you or not?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
If
Clear.
any query, you can put it in the chat box. I will try to answer it. Ms. Mohini
Audible,
Sharma.
sir?
Yes,
Sir,
please.
I have a question. The session has been great, but I do have a question if I am allowed to ask.
Yes, please.
Sir, what if the registrar does not allow our application or it rejects it after
Yes.
receiving the objection, or even before receiving the objection, after scrutinizing our application, it finds that it should not be registered?
Yes.
So what are the options available to us then?
You can file an appeal against
Go
the
before.
against the registration, because this is the preliminary authority. In the same manner, you can file an appeal before the trademark appellate tribunal, in the copyright appellate tribunal as well. There is a appellate authority.
So normal civil courts or high court?
No, not
not have
normal
jurisdiction.
civil court. There is a specifically designed appellate authority also available in this act. And you can file an appeal. Once your appeal is rejected, then you can go to the court.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome. Yes, anyone please? My learned senior friend Mr. Mahajan. महाजन जी मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं? Now probably there is no question, no query. It is clear to all of you, I hope so. Even though, if you have any query, you can get in touch with me at my mobile number, at my email ID. Email ID we have already reflected. And even though again, I will show you my email ID. This is the we have already shown in the PPT, even though I will show my email ID, mobile number. This is my mobile number, 9999130332, and you can get in touch with me, nitya@nuxlegal.com. So all of our friends, you can get in touch with me. And certainly thanks to all of you for attending this session, for your 1 hour patience hearing. And we used to have a session on the 2nd and 4th Saturday every month. And if you want to join in the different topics, certainly I would like to cover the entire IPR portions. We have already covered the Trademark Act, we have already covered the Design Act, and we have already covered the Copyright Act today. And we will also cover the GI, patent, and what happened after the registrations once it is infringed. Then what happened? How can I file a case before the court for the infringement of the trademark, design, copyright, patent? So I will try to cover the entire IPR in our sessions. Apart from the IPR, you are also covering the another different topics. And if any one of our learned friends wants to have a session on this platform, you are most welcome. This is the Vidya Vijay Foundation and invites all of you to learned friends. This is the platform open to all of you. Most welcome. So now we should end session. Yes, Miss Yasika. Yasika?
Shika, can we have the vote of thanks, please?
Yes, vote of thanks, Miss.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much. My name is Kirti Sharma, and I stand here today as proud and grateful to express my heartfelt thanks to all those who have made this session possible today. I would like to start by thanking Vidya Vijay Foundation, who have always been supportive and they have encouraged us to strive for excellence. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Nityanand Singh, who have been our guiding lights, imparting wisdom, knowledge to us, and nurturing our talents. Their unwavering support have been instrumental in our growth and development. I would like to express my appreciation to all our guests who have taken time out of their busy schedules to grace this occasion with their presence. Your presence has added an extra spark to the session and made it even more special. So thank you once again for all. Thank you.
You are on mute, sir. You are on mute.
सभी साथियों का धन्यवाद, नमस्कार। मैं ये कहना चाह रहा था कि अगले सेशन में हम फिर मिलेंगे। सेकेंड और फोर्थ सैटरडे को होता है, लेकिन सेकेंड सैटरडे जो है 11 को है, प्रॉब्ली जो है 12 की दिवाली है, तो मोस्ट ऑफ आवर लर्नर फ्रेंड्स मे बी बिजी इन देयर फेस्टिव सीजन्स, तो वी विल ट्राई टू कवर थर्ड सैटरडे हम लेंगे, 18th को लेंगे, फिर फोर्थ सैटरडे फिर करेंगे। तो 18th will be the next sessions. So all other learned friends are invited to join the sessions. We will 100% share our topics. You can also join our group Vidya Vijay Foundation through WhatsApp or Facebook, LinkedIn. Thanks to all. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी साथियों का, आप लोगों ने हमें अपना कीमती समय दिया, धन्यवाद. Now you can end the session with your due permission. Thank you.